I want you to visualize a scenario that happens every single day in the corporate world. A golden opportunity arises. A tech firm on the other side of the country, or perhaps on another continent, offers a leadership position. The salary is double. The signing bonus is massive. It is the kind of opportunity that alters a family's genealogical tree. The offer is made to two different professionals on the exact same day. Both are 38 years old. The first man is Victor. He earns a good living. He lives in a 4-bedroom house that he has methodically filled over the last 10 years. When Victor gets the call with the offer, he looks around. He sees a mahogany pool table he has used 3 times. He sees a built-in wine fridge, a full garage gym that has become a coat rack, 3 massive television screens, and dozens of stacked boxes in a storage unit down the street he pays $200 a month for. Victor's brain goes into a logistical meltdown. Moving this mountain of matter would require hiring a fleet of trucks, spending $20,000 on shipping, losing weeks packing, and dealing with realtors to sell the house. The complexity is so overwhelming, and the anchor is so heavy that Victor declines the offer. He says, the timing just isn't right. He was taken hostage by his own estate of plastic and wood. The exact same offer is made to Elias. Elias lives in a highly optimized apartment. He has 0 junk. His wardrobe is a tactical system. His technology fits into a single backpack. He owns no useless heirloom furniture. When Elias receives the offer, he doesn't feel panic. He feels pure adrenaline. He activates ghost mode. In 48 hours, he breaks his lease, packs his life into 5 high-durability boxes, ships them, and boards a plane. By the following Monday, Elias is in the new city, taking command of the role and doubling his annual income. This is not just a story about relocating to a new city. It is a brutal analogy about the true nature of money and possessions. Society has brainwashed you into believing that accumulating stuff is the ultimate symbol of success. They convinced you that a stuffed garage is a trophy. They lied to you. Excess possessions are not a trophy. They are a logistical anchor. It is a lead weight tied to your ankles while you are trying to swim to the surface. Most people aren't terrible with money because they blow it all partying. They are bled dry slowly because they built an ecosystem of objects that demands they work like mules just to keep everything clean, insured, and stored. They traded tactical mobility for static accumulation. I am Buck, and today I'm going to hand you the doctrine of phantom logistics. We are going to run through the 10 rules of engagement that separate the people who use money to buy absolute freedom from those who use money to build their own cages. Prepare to audit your life. What you are about to hear will destroy the way you look at your credit card. To operate as a financial strategist, you need a new mental model. You must carve this law into the back of your eyelids. Every physical object you allow into your life will tax you twice. The amateur civilian looks at a price tag. He sees that a smart treadmill costs $1,500. He swipes the card, the treadmill arrives, and he thinks the transaction is over. The cost is paid. Gross tactical error. That was merely the cost of admission. The object will now begin to extract the phantom tax, and it attacks you on 4 silent fronts. Front 1, the spatial rent charge. You pay for every square foot you inhabit, either through rent or property taxes. That treadmill you don't use occupies roughly 20 square feet. If your cost per square foot is $40 a year, you're literally paying $800 annually in rent just so your treadmill has a place to sleep. You think you own it. It is actually your tenant, and you are footing the bill. Front 2, the maintenance bleed. Complex possessions degrade. A recreational vehicle like a jet ski or a dirt bike does not hibernate for free. It requires fluid changes, new batteries, state registration fees, transport trailers, and insurance. The industry calculates that annual maintenance for a motorized toy costs 10% of its value. A $20,000 motorcycle will suck $2,000 out of your account every year, even if it sits under a tarp in the garage. Front 3. The bandwidth hijack. Cortisol. Every object in your line of sight requires cerebral processing. Your brain has to scan the environment. An environment cluttered with dozens of out-of-place items spikes your cortisol production, the stress hormone. You have to clean it, organize it, dust it, and worry about it getting stolen. Your focus, which should be used to dominate your profession and increase your income, is being fragmented managing little pieces of plastic. You have outsourced your mental health to your furniture. Front 4. The opportunity cost slaughterhouse. This is the math that separates the wealthy from the slaves. Those $10,000 you buried in a home theater surround sound system are not just $10,000. You assassinated the compound interest of that capital. If you had injected those 10 grand into a passive U.S. market fund, S&P 500, and forgotten about them, in 20 years they would have transformed into over $45,000. You didn't buy a sound system. You surrendered $35,000 of pure future freedom. You sacrificed an entire year of retirement for a subwoofer. When you internalize the violence of this phantom tax, your purchasing instinct mutates. You do not become a minimalist because you think it looks trendy. You become a lean operator because you are lethally protective of your capital and your energy. Pay attention to the 10 laws. Law 1. The deployment metric, cost per action. Never evaluate a purchase by its raw price. Evaluate it by logistical efficiency, the cost per action. Before authorizing a purchase, do the cold math on how many times you will actually deploy that gear in a one-year cycle. A pair of $300 tactical work boots. If you use them 200 times a year to protect your feet in the field, the cost was $1.50 per use. It is a high-performance asset. Now, an $800 designer suit that you wore to a single distant cousin's wedding. $800 for a single deployment. That suit is a catastrophic financial liability. Renting it would have cost 1/10 of that. This law obliterates marketing pressure. It proves that expensive tools used daily are cheap, and that sale items you never use are outright theft. Law 2. The hijack test. The reverse audit. Do you want to know what actually matters in your house right now? Apply the hijack test. Walk through your office or your living room. Look at the decorative items, the electronics in the drawers, the clothes in the back of the closet. Ask yourself, if a thief broke into my house today, stole this specific item without leaving a trace, and the insurance handed me the cold hard cash, would I make the effort to leave the house and buy it again? The harsh truth is that if someone stole 70% of your kitchen drawer or your tool cabinet, you wouldn't even notice. And if you did notice and got the cash, you would never rebuy them. They are there out of pure cowardly inertia. You bought them on impulse, regretted it, and your ego won't let you throw them away because that would mean admitting financial defeat. The sovereign operator admits the error and executes the purge. Sell, donate, remove. Turn useless matter into empty space. Empty space breathes. Law 3. The false obsolescence veto. The boredom disease. The capitalist machine requires you to feel inadequate every 12 months. You have a smartphone that takes ultra-high-resolution photos, runs perfectly fast, and the battery lasts all day. But the manufacturer releases the new model, which has titanium edges and a lens that captures 5% more light. Your bored brain convinces you that your current phone is garbage. You have a 4-year-old car that has never had an engine hiccup. But your neighbor shows up with this year's model, featuring a fully digital dashboard. Suddenly, your car feels like a horse-drawn carriage. That is not a need for an upgrade. That is the boredom disease. The rule is martial. Equipment remains on the front line until it suffers a catastrophic operational failure. Replacing lifetime-capable gear with new gear purely for aesthetics is an act of wealth destruction. The citizen who trades cars every 3 years and phones every year burns hundreds of thousands of dollars in depreciation over a lifetime. The money didn't evaporate. It was voluntarily handed over to corporations in exchange for tiny dopamine spikes. Law 4. Barricade engineering. Tactical friction. Water flows down the hill, taking the easiest path. Human behavior works exactly the same way. Corporations have spent billions of dollars to remove all friction from the act of spending money. Contactless payments, saved credit cards and browsers, one-click buying. They turned going broke into a lubricated slip and slide. You must rebuild the barricades. You must apply tactical friction, remove all your credit cards from food delivery apps and e-commerce giants. Do not let your browser save your data. When it's midnight and you feel the emotional urge to buy sneakers you don't need, you will be forced to stand up, go find your wallet, pull out the card, and type the numbers under the cold bedroom light. That simple mechanical friction makes your rational brain wake up and abort 60% of impulsive shopping missions. Meanwhile, your saving process must be perfectly lubricated. The transfer of your salary to your brokerage account must be an automated trigger on payday. You bureaucratize weakness and automate strength. Law 5. The supply ceiling, the constant quarantine. Ordinary people lose track of their own inventory. They stockpile things until the closet doors no longer shut. The operator audits his inventory. How many jackets do you own? Guess and then go count. You will get the estimate humiliatingly wrong. You think you have 5 and you will discover 15. When you quantify your ammo, the spell breaks. You realize how ridiculous it is to buy one more. Starting today, you will establish a supply ceiling. I have 30 hangers in my work clothes closet, period. Maximum capacity is 30. If you want to buy a new shirt, the Cull rule takes effect. One in, one gets executed. You donate or discard an old shirt so the new one takes the hanger. Physical restriction prevents lifestyle inflation. Law 6. The reconnaissance operation, the mercenary doctrine. We live in the era of buying identity. A person watches a documentary about mountaineering and decides she is now a climber. What does she do? She goes to the store and spends $1,800 on snow boots, thermal jackets, ropes, and cargo backpacks. 3 weeks later, after a single hike where it rained and she got blisters on her feet, the gear goes to the back of the garage. The equipment becomes a monument to her lack of discipline. Apply the reconnaissance operation. Rent before assuming the asset. Want to learn to play the drums? Rent a studio space for 3 months? Want to go kayaking? Rent the kayak at the local lake. Renting acts as a ruthless sieve. It tests whether your interest in the activity is genuine or just a temporary fantasy without risking your heavy capital. And if after 6 months you prove the activity is vital to you, your field experience will tell you exactly what professional gear to buy, bypassing the overpriced garbage stores sell to amateurs. Law 7. Cascade anticipation, the Diderot virus. No large object enters your life alone. They are like Trojan horses carrying an army of supporting expenses in their bellies. This is known in psychology as the Diderot effect. You decide to install a luxury pool in your backyard. The amateur only looks at the price of the hole and the fiberglass. The strategist visualizes the cascade. The pool requires electric pumps that will blow up the power bill. It demands monthly chemical treatments. It requires a cleaning professional. It makes the old backyard landscaping look ugly, requiring a gardening overhaul. It mandates the purchase of designer patio furniture. An initial $30,000 purchase spawned a logistical infection chain that will cost $60,000 more over the next 10 years. Always analyze the ecosystem the purchase demands. If you cannot, or will not, fund the entire ecosystem, you cut the head off the snake and abort the main purchase. Law 8. Establish enough coordinates early. This is the error that destroys professionals who receive massive promotions and hit the $200,000 or $300,000 salary peak. They never wrote down on paper where the finish line is. They don't have a concept of enough. As soon as their salary doubles, their standard of living aggressively expands to fill the newly created financial vacuum. They go from a normal restaurant to Michelin-starred spots every week. The premium car becomes a supercar. They did not build wealth. They just became more expensive to operate. The stress of a doctor who makes $300,000 but owes $290,000 in lifestyle costs a month is the exact same stress as the young intern. The cold professional defines his operational base before the money arrives. My non-negotiable comfort is a safe $400,000 house, 2 paid-off cars, and pure high-quality food. When the big promotion lands and income doubles, life does not undergo flashy mutations. All the brutal excess of dollars generated is channeled with maximum force into accumulating assets. That is how a person with a good salary secretly transforms into an impenetrable millionaire. Law 9. The supreme currency, optionality versus aesthetics. Civilian society's wealth metric is based purely on aesthetics. The imported watch gleaming on the wrist, the loud lowered sports car, the mansion shown off on Instagram. The tactical elite's wealth metric is singularly focused. Optionality. Wealth is not what you have. Wealth is the amount of choices you can make without asking anyone for permission. If you are in a destructive work environment, dealing with a boss who humiliates the team, can you stand up from your chair today, grab your jacket, and walk out knowing your reserves cover 2 years of your life? Can you change careers or move states to follow a massive passion because you aren't anchored to a toxic mortgage and 30 rooms full of heavy baggage? The man in the most expensive suit in the room, whose bills consume 98% of his income, has no options. He is a smiling prisoner. The man with the light logistical lifestyle, who consumes only a fraction of his income and stockpiles the rest, has infinite options. Every time you resist the temptation to buy garbage you don't need, you are not depriving yourself. You are stockpiling freedom ammo. You are buying your right to say no. Law 10. The perimeter patrol, cyclical vigilance. Most people fail because they treat minimalism or financial organization as a New Year's event. They do a brutal purge over one weekend, donate 15 trash bags of stuff, feel blessed, and then abandon their post. 12 months later, the weeds have grown back. The house is full of junk. The credit card subscriptions have returned. The 10th law demands continuous patrol. Do not do massive, traumatic cleanups. Do weekly tactical audits. The rule of removing one unused item every week or reviewing the credit card every Friday turns the weight of discipline into a 2-minute habit. Microscopic vigilance prevents macroscopic catastrophe. Here is the secret that closes the loop. Lean logistics and wealth building form an indestructible spiral of power. By applying friction to your purchases and purging invisible spending, your cash flow will explode almost violently, and when your financial reserves reach a level of absolute security, something miraculous happens in your brain. Your desire to display status and buy things simply dies. The indebted man buys designer clothes because he needs that shield to scream to the world, "Look at me, I am successful, please validate me." The man who has $500,000 armored in investments does not seek external validation. The simple fact of intimately knowing that he could buy whatever he wanted eliminates the need to actually do it. True security is silent. That scenario from the beginning, Victor being a prisoner of his own things and Elias using logistical agility to double his salary, is not fiction. It is a choice you make with every single financial transaction in your day. But listen closely. The motivation I just installed in you is a volatile gas. If you try to apply these 10 laws from your own head tomorrow morning, society's pressure will devour you. Marketing is engineered by geniuses to disarm your defenses. To turn motivation into sovereignty, you don't need catchphrases. You need an operations protocol. That is why our intelligence system forged the ultimate weapon. Our tactical manual, called The Order of the Day, 365 high-impact actions for your financial sovereignty. This is not a self-help book. It is a military doctrine applied to your money. It will hand you the surgical processes to install barricades and tactical friction into your banking system. It will guide you step by step through the hijack test and the purging of the phantom taxes you are paying right now without knowing. And it will give you an objective, executable mission for each of the next 365 days, ensuring you build your optionality fund in a mathematical, unshakable manner. Full access to the Order of the Day manual is unlocked right now. The official enlistment link is positioned right down below in the description of this video and locked into the first comment. The value you apply to this manual to access this doctrine won't even pay the annual maintenance fee for that piece of junk gathering dust in your garage today. The return is the unconditional rescue of control over your own life. You can remain anchored by your own estate, bleeding energy to sustain inanimate objects. Or you can become light, lethal, and untouchable. The logistical choice is yours. The ammo is down there. The link awaits your action. Keep your backpack light, your mind cold, and your freedom absolute. I am Buck. The patrol ends here.